Shall we start with a weather report?
Yes, hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, grim and grey up north. Got
Yeah, same here.
absolutely soaked yesterday, like ridiculous. Had to come home and get changed. Um,
Soaked to the bones.
yeah, and I keep seeing the weather. I'm like clinging on to the hope of good weather this weekend, and it just
Yeah.
keeps like sneaking back a day
Oh,
at a time.
yeah.
And I'm like, no, I've just bought barbecue stuff for the weekend. I'll be
Yeah.
English and I will barbecue no matter
Under an
what.
umbrella.
Yeah, I've got a giant umbrella. I'll use it for that. Yeah.
My
But yeah.
friend Richard, Richie, who I live with in Cayman, we shared a house. He was Australian and he barbecued his meat. That sounds like a euphemism. Every night, every single night, he used the barbecue, and even if it was raining, he would do it under a golf umbrella.
And was it a charcoal one? Because did
Oh,
he have
he
to
had
set it up every night? That's what
no,
would do my head in.
he had it had the tanks because he would go into a rant about how much he hated American barbecues every time he used it.
What does that
because
mean?
it I think because I don't know, maybe they don't do it like the Aussies do it,
Oh,
maybe. I
right.
don't know. I have no idea.
If I had a big gas one or something outside, I think I'd use it more. But
You would, wouldn't you? Because you
yeah,
just go out and switch it on.
yeah. Luke, when I cooked something the other week, Luke was like, "Oh, that was so good. We should have our meat like that all the time." And I'm like, "Are you going to go and do it and then clean it
Yeah.
and then because it's not, like you get some families where the woman might cook all the time, but then it comes to barbecue and it's like the
Yeah.
husband's domain.
Yeah.
That's no, that doesn't happen in our house. It's
No,
still
still on
me.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
we only have a tiny little one,
Yeah.
so it's like juggling it all and
Yeah. Oh, you
oh,
should treat yourself and get one that because you love being outside. That would be a little treat.
I know. Well, I was having a look, but what really puts me off is we had one years ago and then I left it outside and it got rusty, so we had to get rid of it
Mm,
eventually. But it like you have to assemble them yourself. And while I am very good at flat pack furniture and stuff
yeah,
like that, it was so fiddly and so intricate. And the thought of losing 2 hours to setting it up.
that's true. It's not very exciting, is it? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
like,
not like putting your shelves up and then putting your books on it, is it?
yeah,
Don't put your books on a barbecue.
if I was guaranteed the weather,
Yeah.
then not a problem. But yeah, they're all self-assembly. So like the bigger
He,
it is,
yeah. We also, Rich, he built a brick one in the back garden as well.
yeah.
So we had a brick, like a proper one, and then he had this one with the tanks on it. And we all put our initials in the concrete. So
Ah,
all
it's
of the
still
house
there.
that yeah, the people who lived in that house, their initials are in the concrete brick barbecue on Snug Harbour on 7 Mile Beach.
Oh, what a
How's
nice
that for an
address.
address?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
That's
um,
like a fantasy novel
I
address, isn't it? Or
know.
like a
Yeah,
rom-com.
yeah. I
Speaking of
know.
rom-coms, can
Yes.
I show you what I'm reading this week?
What is it? Oh, it's blue
It's Foes and Cons by Georgia Bowers. I just spat all over the microphone in my excitement. It's so
and yellow.
nice and it's shiny
Oh, it's gorgeous.
and it's just so colourful. And you know what? I was doing a little stack because I'm going to do a video of like summer reads, and everything else is like quite dark. And then yours just pops in the
Oh,
middle. And I was showing Luke and he went, yeah, it is a good cover though. So there you go.
wow.
The Luke seal of approval.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it was
know.
so exciting when it they all started popping up on Instagram and
I
stuff.
know.
It was, yeah,
I
it's
mean, it's
lovely.
exciting every time anyway, but for you, it's been
Yeah.
a little bit.
Oh,
And
yeah. And in the like the unboxing video, I just kept like staring at it because
yeah,
there's I think it's such a long road, isn't it? And you just think it's never going to happen. And then when you're holding your book, you're just like, this is a book what I wrote, you know?
yeah, yeah.
It's just crazy. But I'm glad you're reading it again. It's probably changed a bit since you read it.
I think it probably has.
Yeah.
Because I read like the draft that you sent to
You read my first
agents,
draft,
first
Cynthia.
draft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then it got your seal of approval because you spat out your sandwich when you were reading
Yeah.
it.
Well, I reread the first chapter again because that was the bit that made me spit my sandwich out.
Yeah.
And it's still very, very funny.
Isn't it funny though, because how it show that first chapter shows just how long the whole process of getting a book published takes. Because when I first wrote it, the first line of the book is where she says, "If I squint, he looks like Kit Connor," because she's at a
Yeah.
party and she's really
And
drunk.
was he
And
Kit Connor in the first one?
no, he wasn't. He was, I can't even remember his name. Is it Noah
No.
Centino, who was in
Oh, in
All
the
the Boys I've Loved?
kissing
But
booth.
P.S. No, not him. The one who was in To All the
Not
Boys
the.
I've
Oh
Loved
yeah, yeah,
Before.
yeah, yeah. Sorry,
What's
that's
his
me getting
name?
mixed up.
Who's,
It is. It
yeah,
is him.
Noah. Yeah,
Mm.
it was him because he was like the man of the moment when I first wrote it. And those films had
Oh,
just come out, and obviously the books were really big, and then it changed, and then it changed again. So, anyway, yeah.
yeah. And now Heartstopper's coming to an end. That's how
I
long
know.
it's been.
Yeah, exactly,
I wonder if
exactly.
Alice Oseman knows that there is a Kit Connor Heartstopper reference.
Well, her friend knows because I told Ren.
Oh, so yeah, so Alice knows. Yeah.
I'm sure Ren
Hi,
would have told
Alice.
Alice. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, thanks for sharing.
no
I'm
worries.
I'm reading, which kind of fits in with our guest, who we're going to have to issue waiting for us
No, not
patiently.
yet.
Okay, of
She's too cool. She'll be here when she's here.
course she will. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have gone wild for Percy Jackson
Oh, have
just
you seen
recently.
that he's just signed a new series?
Rick Riordan,
Yeah,
has he?
a seven figure. Let me
Oh.
have a quick look. Go on, you carry on.
My daughter had to read this for school, and she was resistant to it for a few reasons. And I kept saying, I really think you're going to like the Percy Jackson series. And then they read it in school, and she was hooked. So
Oh,
I've ordered the rest of them from the library, and then we've obviously watched the films, the two films with the ones that came out like over 10 years ago, I think now, which I didn't realise that Rick
did they
Riordan actually hates
really?
them. Yeah, he
Oh,
hates them.
why?
Apparently, he said he hated them so much he offered to rewrite the first one for free. He offered to rewrite the script for
Oh,
free. It is very different because then we've started watching a series now on Disney, which is excellent. And he's been involved in that. I think he wrote like the screenplay and stuff, and he's one of the producers. But it's
right.
much closer to the books. So yeah, and she's got this whole world that she's like diving into now because there's all these kind of there's another series alongside these ones. So yeah, we're loving it.
Well, just announced Camp Half Blood series by
Yes.
Rick Riordan.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, 4 book series. Oh, and he's got a co-author on the first one.
Oh,
It's a very, very long article. But I'm sure I saw the big splashy like goes to Penguin in 7 figure deal.
wow.
Seven
Yeah.
figures for 4 books. That sounds nice.
Very nice. Maybe one day.
Yeah. Have you been watching
Yeah.
anything?
Oh, we're just obsessed with the pit. My
Yeah.
goodness, it is so good. You'll really like it
Yeah.
once you get to
I've
it.
I've mentioned it. Um,
Yeah.
I've got Widow's Bay on my radar that I keep
Is that
saying
on
I need to
Apple?
start. Yes,
Yes, I
not
keep
watched
seeing
it,
that.
but I keep seeing
No.
little clips. I keep hearing people on podcasts that I listen to saying how good it
Yeah.
is. Apparently it's all based on little Stephen King stories, but I've heard it's funny, it's scary,
Mm,
and so yeah, that's on my radar.
yeah.
I've been rewatching the X Files, but I've got to the point now where it's just background noise, and so many
Yeah.
of them are about aliens. And I did know it going in, but it's like you're something, and it's like, and everyone's possessed, and I'm like, ooh, and then it's go because they've been injected with alien DNA, and I'm like, no, God, just give me a ghost story. Um, so yeah, and Scully has almost died and just come back to life, and like she literally, there's about 3 episodes, and she's been like kidnapped and possibly by aliens, and she's in a coma, and she's gonna die, and nothing can save her, and she's got this mad cancer that's come from somewhere, and even a healthy person can't fight whatever bacteria she's got. And then Mulder says something to her while she's in her coma, and it brings her back.
Oh.
And then next episode, she's just back to work. No explanation. No, and she at one point there's a line, she's like, I know what you're worried about, Mulder, but we just have to both get over it and move on. And then that's it. It's so good. I keep thinking there is no way I would be let away with that.
No. I keep reading about the desire for slow burns as well at the moment, and everyone's saying, screw this like 8 episode slow burn. I want 20 episodes of eight, like with 8 seasons slow burn. That's what I
Yeah.
want. Because they were like that was the ultimate will they won't they, wasn't it? It's so
Yeah.
good.
And
The
even now it's
chemistry.
still, yeah. And you kind of
Yeah.
like a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, they
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Um, the speaking of slow burn, I just got my edits back on the book that I've got out in 2027, and there's a bit of a romance in it, which is a bit different for me. And I wanted that to be a bit of a slow burn, and it just kind of culminates at the end. And I was reading through my edit notes, and half of them are they've fallen in love way too quick. Like this need dial it down. The other half are why would they not kiss here? Why would they not kiss here? Like they'd have kissed by now. And like I really kind of want to leave it that way. So the reader is
Yeah.
also screaming, why would you not kiss here?
Yeah.
Um, so that was quite funny reading that back. However, it's the longest edit letter I've ever had. Printed it out and it's 12 sides.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's double spaced 12 sides, and there's a lot of nice complimentary stuff in that. But um it's just typical me. Like they've gone, and what did you mean by this? And I'm like, well, I know. So obviously you must know, but I haven't actually written it down. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's in my brain.
Yeah, I know what's going on. So Ella, I'm not even going to read her bio because we know Ella really well. We've known
Mm.
Ella since we kind of both was Ella in our debut group?
No, I think you introduced me to Ella. I met her
Oh,
at one of your first book launches.
yes. So we've got the same agent and we were both with Scholastic for our first books. So I think that's where we crossed paths. Um,
And
Ella's
then we were
just
going to eat the rich one night, weren't we? On a
yes,
night out.
we all got drunk one night and went round cackling like witches, talking about yeah, abolishing royalty and how the Irish and the Caribbean people were have very hard done by, which is all true.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we've known Ella for a long time. We do have an episode with Ella that I forgot to record. I'm going to check that this is definitely recording.
Mm.
It just disappeared into the ether, and it was so much fun. And it
Mm.
was about mermaids, and it was just brilliant. So we always knew
Yeah.
we needed to have her back. She has written a couple of YA novels, and she has written a picture book. But this episode, we're going to talk about her adult debut, which is called Andromeda. It's got the most beautiful cover, and it's a Greek myth retelling as told through Ella's eyes. So, I'm going to let her in.
Hello!
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry
Hi.
I'm late. My internet went to shit temporarily.
Oh, don't worry. We're
It's
just doing
fine.
your bio, and I meant to throw in and half marathon runner.
Yeah, you legend.
Marathon?
Yeah, I know, Georgia. Doesn't it feel like just yesterday we were talking about how I
I
had
know.
somehow signed up to do a half marathon in the same year that I was getting married and publishing 2 books? Ha! Ha ha ha!
And
Has
haven't
it
you
been
just been in
helpful?
New York?
No.
Sorry. With me and Cynthia talking at the same time. Haven't you just come back from New York as well?
Yeah, I was in New York and LA for 2 weeks.
And
So
then you did your
nice.
half mara. Gosh.
Yeah, it's been like,
Ella is covering her
Ella is
eyes.
very sleepy looking today.
do you know what? It's just been, I can't believe it's only May. I feel like it's been like 3 years in the space of 5 months. Like, it's been the most intense start to the year of any year I think I've ever had. And it's really funny because I turned 30 in March, and I always said like when I was growing up, I was like, yeah, I just have this feeling that 30 is going to be my year, 2026.
Aw.
And like 2026 was like my password for things as a kid. And like, it's been extreme, like good, really good, but also like like I mean I can talk, I guess I can talk about this on here. My parents' house burned down on my 30th birthday.
Ella, oh my
Ella.
God.
Yeah, I fucking know, right?
Oh,
Oh
obviously
my
they're
God.
okay, right? Everybody's
Everyone's
okay?
everyone's okay. Everyone's okay.
Oh,
Thank In a weird way, I mean this is what I'm telling myself
Oh,
anyway. In a weird way, it's like a blessing that it was my birthday because they were up early and out to meet me for like bougie breakfast. And then they
mm,
were on their way to meet me when they got a call from their neighbours saying that he'd had to call the fire brigade because there was like smoke coming out of the house. And then by the time they got there, like the whole top floor was on fire.
oh
mm.
God.
So it's been like a weird thing of like what a birthday, but also if they'd been at home, it could have been way worse.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
I'm so sorry. That's just,
Yeah.
it's
oh.
it's it's been a time. It's been a time.
And
Um,
is it just, does it have
it's
to be completely rebuilt?
rebuilt. Yeah, yeah, because like the roof caved in, the top floor's gone, and then the bottom floor is water damaged from all the hoses. So that's
Yeah.
Mm,
the other thing that you don't think about, but obviously makes sense because they're trying to put it out and it needs like a lot of
yeah.
water. So yeah,
Oh,
it's been a lot.
it's horrible. My sister was in a house fire
Oh,
a few
shit.
years ago, but they
Oh
were
my
in bed,
gosh.
they were asleep.
Oh my God.
And some, oh God, even like
Thinking about
thinking
it.
about it when some guys smashed the windows in and saved them. Like my
They couldn't open the windows, could they?
no, they
It
couldn't
could
get
work out.
out. They so they had to smash the windows and get ladders up. My nephew was 1.5, 2, and my sister had to throw him out the window to the people like oh below. But everyone got out and everyone was fine. But it was one of the you get a phone call like that and you just go, oh my God, like
Awful.
so
Like
scary.
it's
And
so
like your whole
so
life is there,
scary.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
And
like
I guess
that's
your
like
whole life to a point, because
yeah.
I've still got stuff at my mum's and I'm
Oh
42, you
yeah,
know.
absolutely. Like, and that was, that's the house me and my sister grew up in. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Mm,
well, there's like stuff that you can't, like, they're insured, thank God, and all of that. But
Yeah.
there's obviously the stuff that you can't replace, like the sentimental things.
mm.
Um, but yeah,
Oof.
it was an
Wow.
electric charger, like a power bank. You know, those like
Oh God.
Yeah.
the lithium battery
Mm,
overheated. So everyone be careful about your
yeah.
electric
Yeah.
charge.
Yeah.
We've got little fire hammers in every room in this house just because,
Yeah,
yeah.
really makes
Mm,
But
sense.
I will be going and hunting down my chargers after this
Yes,
because,
make sure
but
they're
they're kind
not
of
like
everywhere, aren't they? Like I have them in a bag for when I'm traveling or,
totally. And I think it was one that was just plugged in because they were charging the charger as you do.
mm.
yeah.
And yeah, so just
Yeah.
Oh,
I think at my sister's, it was at her mother-in-law's house and it was a fridge.
ah
Just like,
faulty. Just
yeah,
went, yeah,
mm.
terrifying.
just
Well, I'm glad everybody is okay, Ella, and I can see why
yeah.
that's making you be a bit like, I thought this was actually going to be my year, but like to take
Yeah,
something positive from it, which is that thank goodness they were all
everyone
out.
is okay. It
Well,
Yeah,
just it just
because of
feels
your birthday.
so it just feels so like something out of myth, like on the eldest child's 30th birthday.
Yes.
I was going to say, because you're like really into your astrology and stuff.
I am.
Like, what does that mean, Ella?
Well,
Like a
what
literal fire on
do you
your 30th.
do you know what I mean? And what's so funny is the day before my godbrother's wife, she's Korean, and she did my Korean like astrology chart and like my birth reading, my whole like she sent me like a whole essay about like what this year is going to mean for me. And the
Oh,
first line was fire will be a major catalyst in your life.
Oh,
wow.
The first line. And like Michael, my fiance, who's like kind of skeptical about this, even he was like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
mm,
That's really odd.
My
yeah.
God.
Yeah. So I don't know what it means. Maybe it's like the universe being like, your childhood is really over now, bitch. It's really
Yeah.
over.
Mm.
Time to grow
Grow
up.
up.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like because you have always thought that 30 would be your year and this is going to be a big year, but like the fire is like symbolizing something coming out of those ashes. So you've got from your
like a
birthday,
phoenix.
yes, a year on from your birthday. So it's not till December. You've got,
Yeah.
a whole year to go yet.
Yeah. Like, and it has, but it is weird because it has been really positive in some, like, I have a book out, and aside from the fire, like, my birthday was we did really lovely things, and in a weird way, like, that evening we still like did drinks and stuff because my mum was like, I need to get drunk.
Yeah.
And everyone really came together and rallied, and the room was filled with so much love. So it feels
Oh.
like it's a period of extremes, you know what I mean? Like high highs, low lows.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's tell us your right. So we always start with people's. We didn't talk about this last time. We just went straight into the weird research. But tell us how you got from I think I want to be a writer to where you are now.
So, God, it's funny. Like, I don't know, truthfully, that I ever thought I want to be a writer. Because I just don't think it ever occurred to me that was something I could do. Like, I didn't think it could be like a job, particularly because, when I was younger, all the famous writers didn't look like me. They were mostly men. They were almost all white. They were almost all like really old.
They're all
So
dead. Yeah.
they were
All
all,
dead,
yeah,
yeah.
all dead. Stale, male, and pale. So I was just like, well, could never be me. So I wanted to act because I thought that was a little bit more like, I always knew I wanted to do something creative, and acting sort of felt a bit more achievable because there was a kind of a slightly diverser range of actors. And I went to university and I did English and theatre. And I always had written, but mostly just for myself. Or I would occasionally like anonymously submit something to a student magazine, because I was like too scared. And then after I graduated, I tried acting for 2 years and I hated it.
Oh.
It was awful.
Why did you hate it?
I think because I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I do have friends that are actors, but I do think it takes a particular kind of person,
Right.
to be an actor, and I don't know if I'm that kind of person, and I found the process of just going for endless castings really demoralizing, particularly when, like, after a while you realize what your like casting type is, and you find yourself like in a room with like 300 hotter versions of you. You're just like, this is the worst. Like, really, like, and you think you're so unique, and then you realize you're so generic because there are so many versions of yourself. So I didn't love that. And also you feel like you have no autonomy because you're constantly waiting for somebody else to give you an audition or give you an opportunity. There's not really a lot you can do about your career yourself, and I found that really frustrating. So after a couple of years, I like took a step back. I was like, let me try something else for a bit. Like, I'm only like 22, it's not that serious. So I started working in like production, in like audio and radio, like podcasting and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed like that side of things. I liked having a bit of stability, even though I was still a freelancer. It was still a bit more stability, and I liked that I had a bit more control over like the narratives that we were kind of working on. So that was good. And then I did a bit of time in TV production as well. And then it was while I was working in TV that COVID happened, so I lost my job because production on TV shut down.
Oof.
And then I was like at home, and I was like 24. I think I literally just turned 24 like 2 days or something before Boris was like, stay at home. And I was like, I just don't, what do I do? What do I do while I'm stuck here at home? So I started writing in a sort of more like structured and formal way. And when I was at university, I'd written as part of my dissertation a like long form spoken word poem. And that was the beginning of what would become Rapunzel, which was my debut. And so I like went back to it and started somewhere in your gorgeous shelves. Such a great background, Cynthia. So I went back to Rapunzel and started trying to turn it into something more publishable. But I really had no idea what I was doing. Like, I can't stress enough how fluky the beginning of my career feels, because having then started writing and meeting writers and having a writer community, I just, like, I didn't know what querying was. I didn't know what query tracker was. I didn't know what on sub meant. Like, I wasn't part of the like writer Twitter milieu at all. So I genuinely like got like 10,000 words of something, put it in an email that was like unhinged because it was COVID, and all I done was talk to my fiance and my cat for like 6 weeks. And my email was like, the world's on fire. Everything's going to shit. Well done if you opened your laptop this morning. Here's something I've been writing. Hope you're well. And sent that off to like a bunch of agents. And didn't hear back from many, unsurprisingly, but heard back from two. And had like chats with both. And then ended up signing with... this is an... This is actually probably a good time to say that I am no longer with our agent, Cynthia. Yeah,
We're not siblings anymore.
we're not siblings anymore.
Ah,
But Cynthia and I did have the same agent for a long time. So I
Mm.
signed with Steph at Curtis Brown, who was great. And
I can see
yeah.
Steph opening that email and being like, okay, yes,
The complete chaos.
I'm into it.
And
Yeah.
she was like, yeah, okay. I like this. I like this insanity.
Or
Um,
not, or she has the ability to just look past it
yeah.
and be
She
like,
was-
that's okay.
She was just like, there's something real here, I think is what maybe she felt.
Yeah.
So we worked together on my my manuscript for like a few months, and then we went on submission, and I got my deal with Scholastic at the beginning of 2021, and it was for 2 novels and a picture book, and that was where it all started, really.
I never realized that deal included the picture book.
Yeah, it
No.
did, because I think that so we had the same commissioning editor, Yasmin Morrissey, and we had a long chat, and she was like, because I was writing in verse and prose, she was like, I feel like that verse element will really lend itself to picture book storytelling.
Mm.
Um, but it was good. The picture book process was so wild. Like, it took I found it way harder than writing any of my other stuff, because it's so precise. You have to
Mm.
be so precise. And honestly, like, all in all, from I think my first draft of it to it published in January of this year, I think we maybe worked on it for about 4 years. So
Mm.
Wow.
yeah, just doing, and I was writing other things at the same time, but just like in between drafts of Rapunzel and my second book, The Map That Led to You, we would just go like back and forth on just really fine tuning and honing the picture book.
Oh, wow.
Such a great picture book, though.
Thanks.
Big fans over here. Would you do another one? Would you do another
Yeah,
picture book?
I
Yeah.
would. I don't know, like, not right now. Like, my head is in a very like is in a dark, weird, sexy place at the moment. But I definitely think in the future I would. It's really just about like, I'm not someone that's wedded to age or genre.
Mm.
I'm really just about the story. And so if a good story comes to me and I'm like, oh, this is for little ones, then I would write
Mm.
it. Do you know what I mean?
And you're
Yeah.
so good with the little ones, Ella, because I was telling Cynthia about your visit to my library, when you were going through the start of your "What is my life? What do I do? Am I right? Am I running a half marathon? Am I doing this? Am I?"
Yeah, I was having a proper like pre-30 existential crisis to Georgia, and I was like,
Yeah.
Georgia, you turned 30. What am I doing?
Yeah, and then you were like,
Yeah.
"You've had children. When did you decide you were having children? How did you decide that?" And then we went down to do the
Yeah.
event.
I thought you were going to
and
say, how did you have children?
how did
Like,
you
well,
have, yeah, how did it work? Yeah, yeah, so I went down and I was thinking, oh, poor Ella, she's feeling a little bit at sea at the moment, and went down to find her holding a baby. She was like, oh, babies.
Let me be clear. I've never said I don't like kids. I do.
No.
I really do like kids. I'm just like, they're a lot of work, aren't they?
They are a
Yeah.
lot of work.
They're a lot of work. And so yeah, and I think like turning 30 and also getting married, the thing that everyone starts to ask you is like, you having kids? Do you want kids? When you have kids?
Oh my God. And just stop and none of your business and
Totally.
go away.
But it makes you really think like,
Ugh.
do I? What do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. And it's like you feel too young and then you realise that you're 30. And I think 30 is a big one. I had a bit of a little meltdown before I was 30, but before I was 40, I was like, yeah, 40, like bring it on.
Totally.
But 30, I remember turning 30 being like, and I was married at that point. I got married at 28 and we had just bought a house. I think we might have just bought a house. And I was like, oh no, I'm only 30.
Yeah.
It's too much pressure, too much. And I want to go traveling. I've not been to Australia and I'm 30.
Yeah.
I thought I would have gone to Australia before I was 30.
Yeah.
And Luke was like,
totally.
but like I keep going on about commitment. And Luke was like, but we are married. And I was like, but that's different. That's different.
I actually so agree with you. I actually so agree with you that it does feel
just
feel
this
different.
big mad wobble. But 40.
I love turning
Great.
30.
Yeah, but you were in the Cayman Islands with a twilight cake.
I was single. I was living in the Cayman Islands. I had a boat party. We all went out to Stingray City. We were all in the water drinking beer.
Sounds amazing.
It was perfect.
But
I have got a big birthday coming up. It's not that far away now. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
It is. These big milestones.
And I feel like 30, I've always been so excited for, and I still am. I feel like I'm really like weirdly like coming into my era. But the thought of like the last 10 years has gone so quickly, and I'm like the thought of that amount of time and then being 40 does freak me out a little bit. But it does reassure me that like I feel like 40 isn't what it used to be. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I
think as well. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I feel like time sped up after COVID. Like all of a sudden, everything, it just sped up. I think like we were all maybe subconsciously rushing to fill our lives up with stuff that we'd missed for those few months, or living with like that hanging over us that there might suddenly be another lockdown, or we were going into different tiers, or you had to bubble up again. So it felt like maybe we were trying to get more stuff fit in.
It all sounds fake, doesn't it?
It does.
Bubble up.
What
the hell?
Yeah. Do you remember the tiers? Because
my
sister was getting married that year, and we live in Bedfordshire, who was like the tier where you weren't allowed to do anything or something. And she was getting married in Northamptonshire, which was in a different tier. And we didn't know whether she'd be allowed to like cross the border. We didn't know what it would look like.
Yeah.
And we were saying, look, they're talking about changing the tiers, so maybe you need to go and stay somewhere in Northamptonshire so you can just go and get married if that's what you need to do. It was just, it was wild. It does sound made up.
It does.
Yeah.
And then if you were a primary school teacher, you were just allowed to be in everybody's bubble. That was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could go into any classroom at all. Because we were immune.
it also meant that lots of people did sit down and write those books that they've been meaning to write, and so there was that to come out of it. So swings and roundabouts.
Literally.
Global pandemic.
So Rapunzel was your COVID book.
It was my COVID book. Yeah.
Win, Lose, Kill, Die was my COVID book.
Love it.
That's
wow. We
probably why it was so unhinged, though. Like
very different experiences.
Yeah, true.
Well, yeah, very different COVID books, but both kind of weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was my second contracted book, though. So I was it was that second book, and I was writing it in a rush. But when you look at it in the context of a COVID book, it was just me getting all my grievances out by killing all these people in weird ways. What was your COVID
Yeah.
book, Georgia? What were you working on?
I don't think because I was editing, I was finishing off Mark of the Wicked edits at the beginning of that year. And yeah,
Oh,
and so I was afloat at that point. That was the start of the wilderness years.
you were writing
It
Legend
might,
Buried.
was it Legend Buried or
It
was it?
was because there is a place that I
Oh
reference
yeah,
in
that is
Win, Lose,
in
Kill,
Win, Lose,
Die
Kill,
that is
Die.
the
But
town in
yeah,
that book that never came to be.
yeah. And then I was writing the one about the bus where they're all on the bus.
Yeah, that we needed
But
Lego for.
anyway,
I
yeah.
know. Sorry, Ella.
Sorry, Ella. Yeah,
So
No,
sorry.
not at
We can get back
all.
to you. We're here to talk about you.
let's go to current books. So Andromeda, your adult
Yeah.
debut has just come out.
Yay.
And it just the cover is just mwah, it's just
Yes.
beautiful. And I know you've done a very specific retelling in a very
Hmm.
specific way. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the book, why you felt the
Sure.
need to write it, and why you've written it the way you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love Greek myth. I've always loved Greek myth. I have always loved, and I love retellings. I mean, Rapunzel is a retelling. I like the idea of using old stories to kind of interrogate new questions, I suppose. And I did a lot of contra to what very angry people on the internet would have you believe. I studied a lot of classical Greek writing. I read the Iliad and the Odyssey and the Aeneid, and I studied a lot of like classical Greek theatre when I was at uni. And I found the sort of the world and the conflict with the gods and the questions of like immortality and legacy so compelling. And so when I was in Paris back in 2022, I was at the Louvre and I saw a painting of Perseus and Andromeda. And I think it was a Titian or Rubens, can't remember, I can never remember. But the note at the bottom was like Andromeda, Princess of Ethiopia. And I was like, that's weird because she was painted as a white woman.
Hmm.
And I just thought that was like odd and fascinating. And I kind of wondered why. And I went away and did some reading. And it turns out that in a lot of the kind of older stories about Andromeda, she is specifically referenced as being dark skinned. And then over time, she's been whitewashed for a variety of reasons, but most recently because of European beauty standards after the transatlantic slave trade. So we're talking about Renaissance writers, Renaissance painters painting in a context of extreme anti-blackness, thinking a very beautiful woman being rescued because she's so beautiful by the son of a god couldn't possibly be black. So they
Mm.
whitewashed her. So I thought that was like frustrating, but kind of par for the course. But it is sort of funny to be like, yeah, Rubens, Titian, they're my ops now. They're my enemies. Um, and then not long after that, I read The Song of Achilles. I was on holiday with my cousins, and it's one of my cousin's favorite books. And I'd run out of reading material, and she was like, "You will love this," and she was correct. I did. I was just trying. It's like one of my favorite books now, and I think the two sort of coalesced in my mind, and I started because that idea in The Song of Achilles of like legacy and immortality and the things that people will do to be remembered, even though you really have no control over how you're remembered or how your story is told and how other people perceive you, um, felt like such an echo of what I'd been thinking about Andromeda because again, this idea that she'd been like famed for her face and famed for being beautiful, and then her face was kind of misremembered and mistold. Um, so that was the seed of the idea, and then I just had it sort of cooking in my brain for like 2 years because I was writing other things and working and stuff, and I was sort of it was a departure from young adult. I knew it would be an adult book, so I was a bit like tentative about that. Um, but it was just sort of brewing there, and I was doing more reading and sort of returning to the classics and thinking about this idea of stories told from the margins and whose voices we don't hear from in Greek myth. And that was also ultimately why it ended up being a queer love story, because I was pulling at this thread of unheard voices. And then at the beginning, so at this it was like beginning of 2024. At this point, I think I'd maybe written like 5,000 words of it, like just like stolen moments at airports or whenever I had my laptop on me and thought, oh, I might try and write a scene or whatever. And it was the beginning of 2024, and I was on the phone with my old agent, our agent Steph, and we were chatting about what I was working on, and I'd mentioned Andromeda to her, and she was like, what's going on with that? Like, where are you at with that? I was like, oh yeah, I started writing it, like, and she was like, I think you should finish it. I think this could be like cool for you. And I was like, yeah, I do too. I'm really excited by where I'm going with it, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, how much have you got written? I was like, oh, a bit, you know. And she was like, when do you reckon you'll have it done? And me being a people pleaser and an absolute like simp for an older woman, I was just like, oh, when do you want to buy, Steph? And she was like, end of the month. And I was like, sure. And then I wrote the rest of it by the end of the month because
oh my gosh.
Because I'm a people pleaser and I can't let anyone down ever. But weirdly, I think that having that insane deadline
Yeah.
of like basically 4 weeks to write a whole book is sort of how I work best. Like I don't
Yeah.
I am like a gas. I will expand to fit the space. And if you give me 6 months, I will take 6 months and I'll procrastinate and I'll do other things. And it's hard as well because I juggle it with other work. So I sometimes feel like giving myself 4 weeks where I'm like, right, I can afford financially to take this amount of time off life. I've like saved enough money from elsewhere that I can give myself this time. And then I have to be done because I have to do other work and make money. But I also think that it worked for the story because really Andromeda it's a love story between two people, and it has this like intensity of the two of them like talking and kissing and falling in love and arguing. And I feel like the fact that I wrote it just like locked away in my house by myself for 4 weeks gave it that intensity because it was like writing it in a haze. And because I'd been thinking about it for so long, unlike literally everything else I've written where I've done a draft and it's been terrible and I've had to tear it apart and write it again and it changes so much, I feel like Andromeda didn't drastically change from the first draft. There were a couple of things, but like really it was like downloading the story from the ether. So it was such a funny, strange process, but I'm really happy with like how it's turned out. It's just really weird to have other people reading it now, and it's so sexy. And my mother-in-law read it, and I'm like, oh my god,
Your
no.
Irish mother-in-law,
my very Irish, very Catholic mother-in-law read it, and I said to her like quite clearly like, I want to give you a redacted version. And she got so annoyed. She was like, no, I'm going to read the full thing. I was like, okay, but when you read it, I don't want you calling me being like, well, I'm only after reading chapter 19. And obviously, that's exactly what she did. She called me immediately and was like, had lots of thoughts about how sexy the book was.
Did her voice just get very high pitched?
Yes, yeah, it did. She was like, oh, now I know what's in your head.
Something a mother-in-law should never know.
Truly.
I think we're all making a note about chapter 19 as well.
Yeah. So writing it in 4 weeks, I'm just sat here a bit like flummoxed because I know I'd get to my halfway point where it's the bit where I have to cry for 2 weeks. So you can't afford that in 4 weeks. With it being a retelling, did that help like plot-wise? Because did you know constantly where it was kind of going?
Yeah, for sure. I think it helped. It absolutely helped plot-wise. Because also, I don't want to give away any spoilers. So the love story at the heart of it is between Andromeda and Ceto, who in the original myth is the monster sent by Poseidon to kill her. And the reason I sort of chose that was because in astronomy, the constellation Ceto is right next to Andromeda, and it was weird to me that they would be next to each other in the stars if Ceto was trying to. So that's sort of where it came from. So I knew that they would end in the stars, and so everything was me working backwards and then like figuring out where I was going to be true to the original myth and where I was going to deviate, and why I was going to make the choices I was going to make, and why it made sense for certain characters to behave in certain ways. So it definitely helped with the overall plotting for sure. I think it helped me write quite tightly, which is also why I think I was able to do it in 4 weeks. I did have the period of crying for 2 weeks. I just did it while writing.
While typing.
just like squinting through my tears. Like,
Yeah,
this is so
multitasking.
hard. Yeah. But yeah, no, the crying for 2 week thing is so real. I've had that, the thing I'm writing at the moment. I've gone, it's been like the opposite of writing Andromeda. It's been so difficult, and I've had many 2 week stints of bawling my eyes out. Like, I can't do this. Why is this my job?
It's just such a funny process, isn't it? And then you just find, I don't know, inspiration, or the fact that you have a deadline is always a big one for me. But
For
from
sure.
somewhere you pull it out of the bag, and then it's like,
Yeah, for sure.
when I was finishing the draft of the book I've just done, I wrote 17,000 words in 5 days at the end.
Amazing. Yeah, man.
Like, but going from like, I can't do this, to then just not being able to peel my fingers off the laptop was just
For
mad.
sure.
But
For
4 weeks, it's like the dream, but I also know I feel like, you know, the meme of Penny in the big, what's it called? The
Big
Big
Bang
Bang.
Theory.
And the meme of her when she gets addicted to
Oh,
the video game.
AFK.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
that would be
She's got
me.
like the cheetah like in her
Like,
hair.
yeah.
Oh,
That would be me
was
after 4 weeks.
That absolutely was me. Like, I was such a gremlin for
Yeah.
those 4 weeks. And yeah, it's just it is such a funny process. I mean, the thing I'm writing at the moment that's just like really kicking my ass it's been humbling. It's been so
Yeah.
humbling.
Is that an adult one as well?
It's new adult, like upper YA kind of
Okay.
crossover, but it's like
And is that contracted?
yeah.
Do you
Exciting.
Yeah.
Ella, do you do a lot of research? Because
Yes.
obviously you
Oh,
talked to us
yeah.
about how you were inspired with Andromeda. So
Oh,
do
yeah.
you, even though it's a retelling, you get all of the research
For
like down so you can
sure.
pick and choose?
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. And I think I really was interested in, so Andromeda, Princess of Ethiopia. So the idea that this would be a story about like Greek gods, the Greek pantheon, but not set in Greece, and like the questions that poses kind of about like the spread of Europeanism, and like what that means for her part of the world, and like how was I going to incorporate Greek deities into a place where they would not have been worshipped. So it really was for me about researching the history of the region of ancient Ethiopia, which is what the Greeks called it. We would know it more colloquially as Nubia. Locals in the area would have called it Kush. Different kingdoms ruled it at different times, but I thought it was interesting to set it in this particular period of history at the sort of turning of the new kingdom of ancient Egypt, because it really sort of, to me, made sense that you would have all of these cultures clashing in this place. So this was a time where Greeks were traveling further afield and were traveling to the African continent. We do have record of that. So there was like interactions between these cultures and these pantheons. But because of the Egyptian empire as it was,
Yeah.
their gods were also spreading over the region. So different places and different regions would worship different gods for different reasons. And I just thought that the idea of a little pocket of the African continent believing in Greek deities, because the Greek pantheon does account for deities not in Europe. Like Nilus is a Greek deity, but he's the god of the river Nile. So how does Nilus fit in alongside Sobi and Hapek and all of the Egyptian deities of the Nile? And so that was like an interesting thing to play with. And I had a lot of fun with it, but yeah, it required a lot of research.
Sounds
But
interesting though.
it was so much fun. Like, I love this. This is stuff I love anyway.
This
like,
is me too. Yeah.
So it didn't even feel, people who said that, they're like, it's really well researched. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it is. It just didn't feel like I was doing research, because I'd be going down internet and book rabbit holes about Egyptian gods anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. Would you ever do anything Egyptian.
Oh, yeah, I would for
Oh,
sure. For sure, I would. Yeah.
it's
It,
it was such a
so
thing,
rich.
wasn't it? It is. It's not my place to write it, I don't think, as much as I'd love to delve into it. Um, because it was all very colonial. I think anything that existed in the 1920s and things like that, and
For
it's
sure.
just not, it's
Not
not the one, is it?
it.
But
Not
no,
it.
um, but it is just fascinating. And I do, maybe it's because we have so much of it and it's so much written down,
For sure. But
we have that history. Was there a
yeah, and
lot of
that's
history about
what's
Ethiopia? Kind
no, and
of.
that's what's really interesting as well, is like because of the sort of the boom in the 1920s of like Egyptology. There was a lot of research and archaeological digs that happened in Egypt that happened, um but yeah, happened not kind of in the uh lower Nile region, um but anything south, because I suppose of a perception of like uh a lack of civilization in sub-Saharan Africa, which is a perception that was tainted again by the legacy of slavery.
Mhm.
There's just so much that's been lost, and I think
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time thinking about what must be buried beneath the sand in places like Sudan, which have just been ravaged by like instability as a result of colonization, famine, war. It's a real, and like I as a result did a lot of reading about what's happening in modern Sudan, and it's so tragic. Like it's so tragic. Like just yeah, for a wide variety of reasons. But it is really interesting to me like what has been saved and what has been lost and why. And that's another
Mm.
kind of theme of the story, really.
It always makes me wonder as well what does exist, but it's just not for public eyes.
Very true.
If there's things that exist and it's in like private collections and,
Yeah, for
that
sure.
might come to light one day when all these, old dudes die.
Yeah, for sure.
But um
Yeah, and there are like Egypt in particular is doing like there's a lot of Egyptian scholars that are doing like really amazing work in trying to recover things from like the Nubian region and sub-Saharan, like particularly around like Sudan. And there's an amazing cultural center at Aswan in Egypt where they're doing like really incredible work, but it's just hard to get funding for it because again this perception of the history of sub-Saharan Africa. So yeah, it's really really interesting. And so yeah, a lot of the stuff that that lays like to the south of Egypt is currently lost. But yeah, incredibly rich culturally. Just a shame that it wasn't a priority.
yeah, yeah. And now is just kind of Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all just lumped together. This
Yeah,
gigantic
exactly.
continent is
Yeah,
just all put together as like,
totally.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fascinating just seeing how angry people have gotten with me for suggesting that there were non-white people that featured in Greek myth.
Oh God.
Which has been
What, you mean like Greeks? Like
yeah,
all those really light-skinned Greek people.
I know there's a real, but I think that's also what's been interesting about writing this book and kind of why I wanted to is like the again it's that using old stories to interrogate new questions. We have a very new idea of what like European means and what race is, and the Greeks, the ancients, simply just would not have had our modern perception of race at all. It was all about status. It was all about power. It was all about money. It was not about the color of your skin at all. And that was also something that was really interesting to kind of read about and learn more about for sure.
And where are you getting, because I love your videos where you address this stuff, where people have obviously, gone, "Meh, meh, meh, meh." But are you seeing this in reviews or is it like on like comments on your
It's mostly been social media comments, like just hundreds, sometimes thousands of people who are really
Oh
mad.
my God. On what platform?
Across sometimes both, to be honest, like Instagram and TikTok. It's like sometimes my videos find the wrong side of the algorithm,
Right.
and then it's like, oh no, and I always know it's happening because I don't look anymore, but I'll always know it's happening because I'll get loads of notifications, but not a lot of new follows, and I'm like, oh, it's the angry people that have found
Right.
me.
Right. Yeah.
But I kind of anticipated it a little bit because I think that there has been a really interesting sort of a really interesting thing has happened in the last sort of 10ish years. I mean this pre-exists that, but on the internet, and specifically on the internet, where like the online right wing have decided that like they are the cultural and intellectual heirs to like ancient Greece and ancient Rome. So the amount of like angry, sweaty white men in my comments with profile names like Caesar Nero 72
Oh my God.
yeah, who like feel like a real sense of like kinship and ownership over like
What with like mental Roman emperors?
with mental Roman emperors.
It says it all, doesn't it?
It
Like,
really, really does. And I'm just like, it just makes me laugh because I'm like, I so know that you have not read Homer and you've not read Aristotle and you've
No.
not read Plato.
no, they've watched Gladiator
You've watched Gladiator and you're like,
several times.
white men being strong, yeah.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
That's me up there. And I just find it funny because I'm like, the ancients would have thought that you were an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to I've got a new favorite podcast,
Oh,
and
please.
it's called After Dark, and it's a history podcast, but they bring guests on. You'd be really good on there actually, but they get like specialists on, and the one I listened to yesterday was murders in Rome, in ancient Rome, and it was basically about how
Oh.
anyone in like the higher echelons of society, it was not illegal to kill someone. It caused a lot of civil
Wow.
strife if it was like somebody, of note. But if it was an enslaved person, it was just fine as long as you
Yeah.
said sorry to
The
whoever
owner.
owned them or whatever. If you own them, just do what you want. But it was a lot of like very inventive, like being thrown to a pool full of lampreys in like the house. But
Oh my God.
that's who those guys would have been. They would
Yeah.
have been the enslaved people being thrown to the lampreys. They would not have been
They absolutely would have
you
been.
know. And it's that
Literally.
weird narcissism where people are like, obviously, like when people say they
Yeah.
have past lives, and it's like, well, I was Cleopatra. Well, no, you
Yeah.
probably weren't. Like,
You absolutely were not.
you were probably shoveling something
Yeah.
somewhere. If that's a real thing. But yeah, they've not read
No.
anything.
I do also think past lives are a real thing, just while we're on this subject. And I'll tell you why, because I know you'll
Were you
appreciate it.
Cleopatra? Is that why?
Oh, of course. No, I know you'll appreciate this because when I was little, but basically between the ages of, from when I could speak at about, I think I first spoke at like kind of 7-8 months, and then until I was about 3, I used to cry and cry for no reason, and then my mum would say, why are you crying? And I would say, I miss my other mummy. And my mum would say, what do you mean your other mummy? And I would say, my other mummy with red hair who fell in front of the train.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So creepy kid over here.
Yeah.
Also, I'm like, yeah, clearly something else was going on. I don't know, because where would I have got that from at like 2?
Yeah, that is weird.
Isn't it weird? Yeah. I thought you'd appreciate that. I know you like a creepy kid story, Cynthia.
I'm just so on the fence of stuff like that. I desperately want to believe that it's real, and then my like other side of my brain is going, well, you probably saw something on telly that like got ingrained, and we'll never know. And that's what I kind of love about it.
Know.
I believe it.
Just 100%.
Yeah. If someone came and knocked on my door and said, help me, I'm from the future, I'd be like, come in. Let's work this out.
Please don't do that to Georgia, because she will. And
I was going to say, if you ever want to rob Georgia,
I know.
just tell her
If
this is going to be on a
vampire,
documentary one day.
Vampire, I wouldn't invite them in. So
How
if
would
you're
you
a vampire,
know?
How would
if
you
you're
know?
a vampire from the future,
yeah, bugger off.
I'd just I'd be very careful about how I phrase the question.
Nice.
Would you like to come in, or I just So I'm always thinking about these things. You never know.
Well, particularly writing OnlyFans. Can we talk about that
Oh.
for a second? Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. It's a joke.
Oh,
I remember we were
thank you.
talking about it and I was like, Georgia, this is an amazing idea.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we
everyone
were.
did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone was like,
Wow.
this is the one.
This is the one. This
do
is the
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Well,
it's so
and that's
exciting.
another one that I'm like trying to finish like crazy, you know? Just, and I'm at that stage where I'm like, this is really bad. And then I keep thinking of all the times I had an agent say, these first 3 chapters are brilliant. Can you send me the rest? And then nothing.
Yeah, but you've got an
So,
editor now to sort that out for you.
Yeah.
But I felt like that with my last one. Got to a point and then just went, you know what? I'm just going to write the end.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Done.
The draft I handed in of the book I'm writing at the moment. It was my first draft. I handed it in February. It was 170,000 words. and it was the worst thing I've ever written. Like, it was.
How do you write so much?
Oh, I'm just like, let me throw everything on every thought I have, every like idea about how this could work. I'm just gonna put it on the page, and then the joy of having an editor is them being like, this works, this doesn't, this works, this doesn't. And now I'm writing draft 2 and it's a lot clearer, and I feel like it's a lot clearer because I did all of that horrible beginning work where I just had to kind of throw stuff at a wall and see what stuck, you know.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about this book?
Can you tell us when it's out? Is it a next year book? Just no. Ella's just shaking her head and going, no.
I just can't say anything right now.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk to you about it another time.
I can tell you, I'll be able to talk about it in around Yalk. That's when I'll be able to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
So
Lovely.
what's that? That's like October, November or something.
Yeah.
Around then. That's when I'll be able to talk about it.
I think I might be able to talk about mine then as well.
Okay, cool. Great.
Which sounds nice.
So in between all of the research, the writing, thousands of words, the half marathon, the trip to New York, turning 30, have you been able to do any reading for pleasure?
I have a bit, yeah. Like, those American flights were long.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to read a bit. I've been reading a few things. I was in a bit of a reading slump at the end of last year, which I don't know about you, but when that happens, I literally don't feel like myself. Like I was like, who am I if I'm not enjoying the book? It was really odd.
And then when you do enjoy it, you go, oh, this has been here all along.
Yeah.
Why have I not picked it up? Yeah.
Do you have a specific, like, whenever you fall into a reading slump, do you have anything specific that you do to get out of it? Is there a particular kind of book or genre that you go to help?
No, I think I've been in one for like 8 years.
I've started reading, this is really new to me.
Oh, graphic novels.
Graphic novels and comics.
Nice.
Because I really feel like I want to read and enjoy that process and the feeling of reading, but I just can't. It's like a block when I pick up a book a little bit. So I'm really enjoying like just reading something really quick and fun. And some of them aren't quick and fun, but I feel like my brain can cope with it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. So, I really understand what you mean about the block. It's weird, isn't it? It's like, because obviously books are our job. So sometimes I feel like it feels like work.
Yeah.
In a way that it's trying to find. And sometimes I'm like, I should read something that's going to inspire me for what I'm writing. And then I do, and it's too close to what I'm working on. And it gives me anxiety.
I can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've read a couple of books for like that I've been sent for blurbs, and when I love it, it's great, and when I don't, I feel like I've been cheated out of a book. Do you know, like I could have read something else, I didn't have to read that one.
What was the book you were reading with your fiance? He made you read a book, you were reading it together and you were like, this book is awful, but then you also got to read a Katie Kirby book because you were doing that thing with her.
It's so funny that you remember me having a conversation with you. My fiance, so I love my fiance very, very much, right? And there are so many things that we like have in common and agree on taste wise, but we have really different taste in books, and it really bothers him, and he really wants like, because we both did literature at university, we're both such book people, he really wants it to be a thing that we share. I'm kind of less bothered, I'm like, you do you, but he really wants it to be a thing that we can like share and talk about. And like occasionally we'll have moments of crossover, but it's quite rare. So for years, and I do mean like for years, he has been asking me to read 2666 by Roberto Bolaño, which is one of his favorite books. And it's become a thing where like I've recommended him my favorite books and he's loved them. And then he recommends me his favorite books and I fucking hate them. And then he gets really upset about it because he's like, I just want to share this thing with you. And I'm like, I know, but I'm not having a good time. And it's the same thing that like he wanted me to read a few years ago. I read The Unbearable Lightness of Being and I didn't like that either. It's just like a man whining for 300 pages.
Yeah, you can experience that anytime.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with 2666, it was one of those things where I was like, I can tell that this is like a masterful piece of literature and it's like written so brilliantly. And I think this is where he and I differ. I'm such a character reader. Like I love like compelling, like character driven, like lots of interiority, like getting in people's head stories. And he's a bit more like vibes, atmosphere, like what is the like ominous presence and what does it represent kind of reader. And 2666 is that kind of book. It's also over 1,000 pages long.
Wow.
And with the greatest respect in the world, like it takes a particular kind of headspace to commit to an 1,000-page book.
Yeah.
You know? And I made it like a third of the way through and it was like pulling teeth. And I had to pause it to read Lottie Brooks and I had the best time. And I literally said, because I was chairing Katie Kirby, and I literally said to Katie Kirby, I was like, thank you so much. This was like a drink of water in the desert. And I'm sure there are lots of very literary people who are going to be horrified. And I'm not saying that 2666 isn't brilliant. It is. I know it is. But I just, yeah, and a 1,000-page, quite dense piece of literary fiction when you're juggling having to read for work and write for work.
Just not for you. And it should be fun. Like you should be enjoying yourself. That's the bottom line of reading, sure. I think.
And I'm also such a mood reader. I don't know about you guys. Like, do you work through your TBR? Like, are you good at being like, and next on my list is this and reading it?
No.
Okay, cool.
Just whatever, like, I like a lot of non-fiction to dip in and out of when I'm struggling.
Yeah, cool.
And then that's research for books usually, or it will spark an idea off.
Nice.
Like I've been reading Yeats, which is really dense and like tough, but it's all the collections of his writings.
Love it.
So some of them are like 4 or 5 pages long. So I read it in bed and it helps me sleep.
Yeah.
But I've read a little bit. It's about some bonkers, mad Irish myth. And then I go asleep.
Love it.
It's great. So, but that is literally taking me the entire year to get through. I couldn't sit down and read that
in one go. No, for sure.
No way.
Are you a TBR reader, Georgia, or do you have to?
Oh, I think in an ideal world, I have like I would have a TBR pile, but because I'm so time poor, I feel really chaotic with my reading at the moment, and I've never been like that, and it's very unsettling to feel like that. And I've started like 3 or 4 books and not because I would always read one book at a time. I would never, unless I had a non-fiction on the go. But the other thing, if I am in a slump, often a biography helps if you know that you like that person. You know,
sure.
Yeah.
I read Tim Curry's autobiography this year. I'm a big fan.
Love
and it was just him. It was just him being a bitch the whole way through.
Oh, brilliant.
And he has this ongoing bit where like he says, I never talk about my love life ever, like it's private. But the one person he will talk about who is like the one who got away, who he worked with on a film, in the 90s, Miss Piggy. And it's this ongoing thing that he, like in interviews, and he's just so deadpan about it. It's brilliant.
I love that
Love
so
him.
much. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm a massive mood reader. I think that's also where me and Michael differ, is like he can't understand mood reading. He's like, but
Mm.
you said it was next on your list. And I'm like, but I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, I don't want
I
to read
love
that. I
that
want to read
actually.
this.
I've never thought of it as mood reading because
Yeah,
there's some books where I'm like, I'm going to read that in October, you know.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or in the
I
like
love
sun,
that.
I have a summer
Yeah.
like list that I want to get through because it's like
Totally.
fun summer
Mm,
books
Yeah,
mm.
or
absolutely.
spooky Christmas books. Yeah.
Yeah, I love a spooky Christmas
Exactly.
book. Yeah.
Exactly. And like it's so true as well, like seasonally, like I love going back to like a gothic Victorian moment in like
Mm,
Hmm.
October. Like
mm.
I don't know, like I reread Wuthering Heights quite a lot, or like yeah, just anything a bit macabre, at that time of
Yeah.
year is great.
I
So
was reading
Mm.
Turn of the Screw on, we did
oh,
a little
so
European like
good.
adventure on the train and I was like, got to do a bit of gothic reading on
Yeah.
the on a European train journey.
So fun. I
So
was
yeah.
yeah, I listened to a really good audiobook of Dracula.
Oh,
Um
was it the multicast one?
Was
yeah.
that the one with Tim Curry in it?
Is
Because he's done
Oh, it
one.
might
has he?
I
No,
don't
Yeah.
remember.
there's a guy called Steve something in mine,
It,
but I remember
Steve.
his name because but he was so good.
it's
His
so
voice was so
good.
good.
So
That
good.
was that audio was my first ever full like read of Dracula. I did it
Oh,
on audio.
nice.
And when I was listening, I thought, is this like a modernized version? I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mean as such a feminist, and
Yeah.
there's this, and there's a cowboy in it. And I was kind of like, what's going on? And I went back and I was like, no, that's the original
That's
version.
the original
Mm.
And
version.
that was me like 100% fully in love with Dracula.
Yeah, so good. I love it so much.
Just
So
brilliant.
big fan. And yeah, just generally a big fan of audio. That's also quite good at getting out
Yeah.
of a reading slump.
Yeah.
And Andromeda it's been my first book that's had an audiobook, and that's been like the coolest
And
thing ever.
do you
And
have
you've
a
done
part in
some,
it?
yeah.
I do read part of it,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so exciting.
Yeah, it was just the coolest thing. And I got the rest of it's narrated by Phoebe Campbell, who's an actor in House of the Dragon, and
Wow.
which was just like, I went to primary school with them and had this idea while I was watching House of the Dragon that I was like, oh my God, they'd be perfect because we kind of sound similar. Like we sound like people that grew up in the same place and went to the same school. Do you know what I mean? Because we are.
Yeah.
So I had this idea that it would work if I read part of it and they read most of it, and they read the rest. And so I sent them like a really groveling email, like, please. And they were like, of course.
Oh,
And they've
Oh,
done the most sensational job. So that's been that's been really cool.
that's exciting.
wow.
As
That's
well.
something on your bucket list, isn't it? To read
Yeah.
on your own
For sure.
audio.
For sure. But really what got me out of my reading slump recently has just been reading like utter filth. Like
Yeah.
total
Yeah.
You know what? I keep
love
threatening to
it.
do it, and I just need to do it because I think that would also pull me out
It's
of
the
my slump.
best. It's so good. When I was in New York, I picked up a book called Priest by Sierra Simone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
heard of it.
Oh, it's so good. And I was like, yeah, this is me cured. Because it's so easy to read. It's so fun. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
just like sexy. But Sierra Simone in particular is one I always recommend because she's a very, very good writer. And
Mm.
I just like that she uses her powers for wicked. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because like she has a real like command of language and then just puts that command to like utter degeneracy, and it's the best. So it was just
Okay,
like,
we know what's on my TBR then for next week,
Yeah.
honestly,
Georgia.
Sold.
Yeah.
thoroughly recommend. So
Yeah.
Shall we
I
do a
really
buddy read and then we can squeal about
please, oh my
it?
God,
Yeah.
and message me as you're reading it. It's so good. So I was reading
But
that, and then I read Sweet Bitter Song by Rosie Hewlett because I was chairing her, and we keep saying that, and we have the same publisher as well, and it's also like Sapphic Greek myth, so we keep being like our sister books,
Oh,
which is cute. And then at the moment I'm reading Bunny by Mona Awad, and that's weird and wonderful and really good. So
wow.
yeah,
fab.
current
Lovely.
current a real range there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love it.
And Lottie Brooks.
And Lottie
Yeah.
Brooks. So good.
I know. I wish
They
they
are
were
brilliant.
around when we were younger. They
Yeah.
are
I know. I
Mhm.
was cackling reading Lottie Brooks.
so
Yeah.
fun.
Sorry, I've just gone. I've been kicked off my thing, but you can still hear me, presumably.
Yeah, we
I can still see you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can.
Yeah.
That's weird because I can't see you. Here we go. There, it's
Okay.
better. Well, you'll have to when you can share more about your book and when it comes out, we'll have to chat again.
Yeah.
About that one. But before we go, because I think we're coming to an end now, can you
Cool.
tell us where people can find out more about you?
Yeah, I'm on all the social medias, not Twitter because that's a hellscape, but I'm on Instagram and TikTok at McLeodmouth. So my surname MCLEOD_mouth because I'm a loud mouth, so I'm a McLeodmouth.
Perfect. Well, thank you so
Oh,
much. We
Thanks
hope
for having me.
Andromeda does amazingly.
Thanks, me too.
I know.
I'm sure it will.
And hopefully see you soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully see you guys
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. All right.
Lovely to see you.
Lovely to
Bye.
see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Browser history deleted.